Welcome to Blissmas Academy. I hope you're doing great. As a part of this video, we'll write a Python program for swapping the numbers. But when you say swapping, let us understand that first. Whenever you want to write a program for any requirement, you got to understand what exactly is that requirement. What exactly is that problem? In this case, we are saying we are writing a program for swapping of the number. So what is swapping? Swapping in general is exchanging something. You can see in this picture, they are exchanging a video game with a tool. Then what is swapping in case of Python? In case of Python, swapping is nothing but mutually exchanging the values of the variables. We are exchanging the values of the variables. For example, we have 23 and 32, assuming that A is 23 and B is 32. If I want to swap, if I want to exchange the values of A and B, we can do that. Then B becomes 32, A becomes 23. So we want to swap the numbers by writing a Python program. Before you write a program, you need to have some thought process. You need to have some logic created. Then go ahead and start writing a program. First, you understood what is the problem statement, or what is the problem, or what is the requirement. Then you go ahead and come out with the logical diagram or logical representation of solving this problem. People do that in a different ways. I am depicting this in a flowchart. When you say you want to write a Python program, first and foremost thing is you need to define the variables. Okay. In this case, we are talking about two numbers. We want to swap the two numbers, right? So we have input 1, then we have another input. Then go ahead and swap them. You have value 1, value 2, that becomes value 2 and value 1. This is what we want to do. Okay. So then after you reassign, you swap the numbers by some logic, which we will understand while writing the program. Then you print the values. That is when the numbers get swapped. Let us get straight to Jupyter Notebook and start writing this program. I am in a Ubuntu. Within that, I have opened a Jupyter Notebook, which is opened in a browser. So here I will go ahead and click a new and say Python 3. It is IPY kernel. I'll open this. Then I will get a notebook with a cell. So what do I need to do first? I'm writing a Python program here. Let me not go on defining the structure and all those things. Let me get straight to writing the program. Let me say Python program for swapping the numbers. So here, first and foremost thing is defining the variables, right? I will say A is equal to some 10. And I'll say B is equal to 20. Am I explicitly defining the variables? No, I am assigning the values to the variables. As a part of that only, variables are getting defined. That is the beauty of Python. You need not explicitly define the variables, then assign the values to that. When you are assigning the values, automatically variables are declared. Now, just to understand what is the value of these variables, I will say print values of the A and B before swapping. What are the values of the way? I will say comma A comma B. Okay, let me run this. You can run this in two ways. Either click on a run button here or shift enter. That also will run. Yes, you can see values of the A and B before swapping is 10 and 20. Now, how do I swap this? There are different approaches for swapping. Let me start with the first approach. If I want to swap the value of A and B, that means say that A should become 20, B should become 10. One of the approach would be, I will define a temporary variable that is called as temp, and I will assign value of the A to that. Now, if you go ahead and say print temp, let me run this for you. Okay, value of the A is 10. So value of the temp is 10 now, because I assigned the value of A as a value of temp. So value of temp is also 10. Now what I will do is, I will say A is equal to B, means in a way I am assigning the value of B to A. So let us go ahead and run this again. Because I'm printing only temp here, because I have assigned a value of A to temp. That is the reason value of temp is 10 now. Now I will do one more thing. What I will do is, I will say B is equal to temp now. Now let me repeat the same thing here. Instead of printing the value of temp here, I will cut that and print the value of temp here. Let us see what comes here now. So what am I getting? I am getting the value of temp is still 10, because I have assigned the A to temp, and I assigned the value of B to A, and I assigned the value of temp to 10. Now if I say print A, can you guess what would be the value of A now? Yes, you are guessing it right. So value of A would have become 20, because I'm assigning the value of B to A. Awesome, isn't it? Now all I have to do is, I have to just go ahead and take this. Let me go ahead and paste it here. I will comment these two lines, and I'll say value of the A and B after swapping. Let me run this program now. Yes, we successfully swapped the value of the numbers. So easy, right? Please do practice it. Now I will show you how to approach the same thing if we were to take the input from the user. In this case, what am I doing? I'm just hard coding the values, right? If I want to take the input from the user, how do I do it? Very, very simple. I'll just go ahead and say Python program for swapping numbers by taking the input from users. Okay, that's all I'm trying to do. I'm going to maintain all the things same, except that I'm getting the values from users. What do I do? Now I'll just copy this here, paste it here. If I want to take the input from the user, what should I do? All I got to do is, I will mention it as the input. That means to say that I am getting the value from the user. For that, I will say enter the first value for A. Then I'll copy this, enter the value for B. Okay, it is going to take the inputs from the user. Now rest of the code remains same. All I'm doing here is taking the inputs from the user. So let me copy this whole code and paste it here, right? Let us go ahead and run this. What happens if I run this? It will ask for a input from the user. Enter the first value for A. So I will say some 54. Enter the second value for B. I'll say some 78. After that, it runs Values of the A and B before swapping is 54 and 78. Values of the A and B after swapping is 78 and 54. Awesome. We learned how to take the input from the user and swap those numbers. Let us do one more variation here. Instead of having a logic where we are defining a temporary variable and assigning the values to that, we can do in one more way. Let me demonstrate that for you. It is very, very simple. You would say, why you didn't tell me this earlier only? Because I wanted you to understand. All I will do is I'll copy this whole thing and paste it here. And I'll say I'll change this different logic. Different. Okay. What do I need to do here? I have to just change the logic. How do I do it? Let me go ahead and remove this. All I will do is A comma B is equal to B comma A. Are you crazy? Is it going to work? Yes, it is going to work. Let us go ahead and run this now. 23 and I will say 37. You can see it, right? It is as simple as this. Wonderful. We understood how to swap the numbers by writing a Python program. It is very simple. Go ahead and write this program without looking at the code. Wherever you are facing difficulty, start looking at the code and write the program. Thank you.